It's probably. Yo, there's here. Your name. Okay. Everyone, please stand before we call the meeting to order. Ask Jim Anderson to say a prayer for us. Yes, Commissioner Hoffman to lead us in the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity today to come here and do the work of our city. We ask that you give us strength and wisdom. We ask that you give us great weather and remember what this week's all about with the Easter holiday coming up. Keep us safe travels, be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Praise the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, we're going to put the all right, we'll call the April 15th meeting of the City Commission to order. Thank you all for coming and showing an interest in our city. First item is the consent agenda, which consists of the minutes of our regular meeting of April the 1st. Everyone's had a chance to look at those. No additions, corrections, deletions. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Kerrigan made a motion, second by Commissioner Lowry. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Next item is our engineer, Mr. Baxley. If you will come forward and get us updated on that.
Good afternoon. You have the update in front of you. First item is the C Street resurfacing. That's under construction. Jim, I don't know if you want to speak on the additional pavers.
Yes, sir. We have it listed on there. If you look under there, we have paving quantities update. We did have a conversation with Mr. George Roberts on there. This is a very large project, and we believe we will have some quantities left over to do some additional paving work with some of the funds that are left over. And we started looking at some of the requests we got and the roads that don't have utilities underneath them. Our thinking was that Long Avenue from Madison Street down to Highway 98 would be a candidate with the board's approval. So what we've done initially was preliminary, he's going to look at it to see what he thinks can be done to the road and what kind of quantities are left over. We want to do it last to see what quantities are left over after everything else is paid. But if it's on the board we'd like to entertain, we can look at it with Mr. Roberts to try to get that paid.
Good idea. How much did he estimate that we might have?
Right now, the quantities just guessing is around 3,000 linear feet. We guess the road to be about 4,600, somewhere in that area. So, but we don't know the final quantities that are left over in the work that's got to be done on that road. He's got to evaluate to see what's the best way to make those repairs. But just wish the board will work with it and bring you something back and see what we can or can't do.
Sure. I think it's a good idea with all the new residences down there and the extra traffic on that road. It's pretty bad. But I would like for us to look at, not under this scenario, but we're gonna need some sidewalks on the side of the residence over there with the number of children we have walking to school now, riding bikes, what have you. So sometime in the future, we need to certainly look at sidewalks on the residential side of the Long Avenue.
We've got quite a bit of paving we still need to do. A lot of them still have the utilities under the road that we're working on now to go out to bid for to fix these utilities, but we've got to look at a road paving plan for the next 5 years probably.
Discussion from the board.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. That road's gotten heavily traveled, but especially with the sixth graders moving over to the high school. I'm over there a lot, picking my daughter, so I see it. It's a rough road.
Well, one thing we are gonna have to look at when we pave it is gonna be a racetrack. So it's kind of a racetrack now, it's a shortcut to the highway. So think we really have to seriously look at some kind of speed bump type scenario, similar to what we've got to do on Avenue A. They're about the same length, but they're both heavily traveled and most of us don't go by the speed limit.
Yes, we do have the one speed table ordered up on 7th Street. So we will have a model to look at hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we can look at that, see what it looks like.
More discussion on that? Okay, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I just wanna, piggyback off the road situation. It's something that we really need to focus on because, there's several roads over, north of St. Joe that needs to be, I think we have what, CNP? Yes. From 98 to MLK. Is that, have a grant out for that?
Yes, sir. We've reapplied again for the Scott grant, for C and D. We have those engineered and ready to go. So my recommendation will be on that. We've applied. If we find out we don't get funding for that, that will be a prime candidate for next year to figure out whether it's city funds or some other funding source. But yes, this will be the second time we try for city.
Yes. Well, let's just keep that on the forefront.
Absolutely. That. What else, Charlie?
City government complex, we are still waiting on the architect for building layout. So I don't know if you've had any gateways.
I'll follow back up.
Monument Avenue and Allen Memorial, pavement's complete on both of those and waiting on the stripe. So we feel like that'll be anytime soon. We're not inspecting Allen Memorial, but Monument, they indicated that should be soon. Wrap that up.
Okay.
Downtown Utilities Phase 2 is under construction. They've had a couple of pressure tests that have all passed, so the project seems to be moving along well.
Is there an end date estimation?
Is it end of this month?
I want to say it's into May,
Into May.
19 days, so I believe it's gonna push it back to June.
Maybe June, maybe first of June, can't remember. We'll find out for the next meeting. The HMGP grant, we did respond to all the RAIs, and I think that they are moving forward with processing that request.
We did get an approval process, to move forward with the additional funding. We haven't seen that additional, information. We're waiting to go award the bid. We've already been out to bid for the project on there, so as soon as they give us the green light on that, we've had a conversation with the low bidder, and several months ago, they were willing to withhold with that same bid, so we're hoping that we can get approval over.
Avenue C and Battle Street intersection is under construction. I have not looked at that project this week, so I don't know what the status is, but it started on 4-3 construction. Victoria Avenue Bridge, the bid results came in, there was only one bidder, Ellington Contracting, and it was $157,205, was basically around about the same pricing as the last bid. I think it's $160,000. So that's at the city's discretion, but I think John and I talked, we feel like that pricing is a little bit high.
It's a lot down there, so what I'd like to do is take a look at Mark and look on the books and probably end up doing this project ourselves.
Right.
This is a requirement from DOT with the relocation of the utilities with the work being done. That's why.
Okay. Question? Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, next item, city attorney, got anything, Clint?
I don't have anything specific, Mayor. If you guys have a question for me.
Question? All right, old business, Jim.
Yes, sir. The first item we have is page 5 and 6 of the current city projects we have going on. The ditch on Cabell Drive, Mr. Grantley's crew has completed that, because that work has been done there. We finished up at the spray fields. We are in the process of trying to get town ready for the summer season. You'll see us working as far as sprucing things up, trying to get the park cleaned up and in shape for the summer season. So that's the big push right now. We also have ordered up the speed table that has been ordered from Roberts. And we have a task order that we have put together for the Washington Gym. Last meeting was asked to try to find an engineer so we could get somebody to put some specs together, to see, about putting a new roof on. So we have signed that task order, and we're waiting to, get back the results of that.
We have an on-site meeting the 22nd of this month with the engineers, to discuss, you know, the parameters of the
Right.
Hopefully next 30 days.
We also have done some work too, if you go by the, Dr. Joe parking lot. We have had the pavers repaired this past Friday. The sale's beyond repair. That thing was a one-off, I believe, back years ago, so we're trying to figure out if there's even a sale that would even fit on it. The problem with sales is there's so much stress on it. I wish there was a better option. The trees have grown and you got quite a bit of shade in there, so we need to make some decisions. A, is the sale the best thing for the area, and so we gotta find somebody to put one back. But you got a lot of shade from the trees, but the downside of that is a couple of the trees have actually grown into the lights. If you see some of the light fixtures that have come loose, you got some of the trees that have grown up in there that are knocking the light fixtures loose. So, and give take. So if you get a chance, ride by and look at it. We need some input as to how we want to finalize these last couple of things there. So,
I looked at it yesterday, and first I was thrilled and a little bit surprised to see that city actually got it done in a timely manner, so thank you. It looked good. As part of the sales, if you can't get sales, I agree, we have some shade from the trees. Let's take the poles down. So we have stainless steel poles, stainless steel cable, but the bench was gone, the one was all rotted down. I didn't take the time to see if the sign is still up or down.
it is, the sign's still there. We're trying to go back and do a little history lesson to find out exactly who did that. It was done, I believe, back through the PSJRA several years ago. So we're trying to find out if we can, we'll get a new one somehow, some way, but we're trying to figure out who done it before to make it.
Commissioner Kerrigan asked, so.
Yeah, I've actually already looked into it. It was done, gosh, almost 20 years ago, and all the old records were destroyed during the hurricane. So I've already reached out to, Dr. Joe's daughter. They're gonna try to put the pictures and text and stuff together that they want to include.
Well, I think in the meantime, while we're doing that, let's take the whole that, because it looks terrible representing both Dr. Joe and the city, so I think that will be a good.
Or just take things, we can just take the plates off.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to mention something about the roof. We need to do something temporarily so that workforce to be able to use the reading room and the kitchen until we can get the specs back and everything going with the engineers for the, Washington gym. I think that it's important that we make sure some of those things are done right now so that, they can have a summer program. It's only gonna last a month, but we need to try to do something, to temporarily stop the leaking in those two parts so they can use those areas. Got some money in parts and bricks, something like that. I like to use it, toward, temporarily fixing those issues.
Yeah, all I know is you guys are meeting on the
22nd, but like,
22nd next week.
we can see if we can put a temporary stopgap.
Yeah, see what.
Sure.
Just, until we can get, moving on, actually putting the actual roof on.
Be good. All right, next item.
The next item we have is the Washington Recreation Center, the Gulf County grant scope of work. Last meeting was asked to try to get a copy of the scope of work that the county is putting together. If you turn over to page 7, this is what, they indicated would be part of their grant.
Yeah, so I would like to just, say for those in the audience that have been wondering about it and don't have a list of what they are, could you read those out, Jim?
Yes, sir, sure can. Replacement of windows at the Washington Recreation, replacement of HVAC at Washington Recreation, remodeling of the stage, including electrical work and stage lighting, refinishing the gym flooring and replacing the bleachers. So my understanding, this is not going out to bid yet, so you know, the pricing's all, we'll come back, see how much of the scope of work they're actually be able to do. But my understanding is they have permission, they're getting ready to do an RFP.
And to clarify, this is what some of you have asked, what exactly is the county doing with that? This was, we sent a letter to them saying, how is this money going to be applied, correct?
We got an email yet, still.
So this is, the information he read came from the county.
Correct. Okay, dokey. Next item, Jim.
Yes, sir. We have 2 grant applications that Mr. Pat Howard is working on for us today. And both of them require a second public hearing and some resolutions for the application, funding leverage, and the objectives of the plan. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Pat Howard to move
We'll,
into the public hearing.
we'll
session.
pause the meeting and this will be a second public hearing starting now.
Good afternoon, how everybody doing today? Good. Glasses off, there we go. Just a little update, I had reported to you folks, at our previous meetings that the deadline was May 2nd. We got an email out, either Friday or yesterday that, Florida Commerce has extended the date, which has happened several times recently in the last cycles, to May 16th. So, we'll get a little opportunity to polish the applications up a little bit. And, but I just wanted to give y'all that, update first. At the, back on, March 18th, we held a Citizens Advisory Task Force meeting here, at 11 a.m. and which was followed up by, at the commission meeting, the first public hearing, and also a fair housing workshop. At the CATF meeting, the Citizens Advisory Task Force members were sort of in lockstep. They wanted 2 projects, and one was the Washington Gym renovations, and the other was, which would be a neighborhood revitalization application under the CDBG program. And the other one was a commercial revitalization project to begin some revitalization of Martin Luther King Boulevard in North St. Joe. And we had previously had a conversation with Lee Dewberry and about cost, and there was some conversations with Duke Energy, and we came up with a what we thought was a reasonable budget to do 3 streets. And in CDBG, there is what's called addressed need and unaddressed need. And addressed need is what you say you're absolutely going to do. And unmet needs is what you say you want to do if you got money left over, which doesn't always happen, rarely happens these days with prices. But just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to give you a very, very brief overview because we talked about it in some depth. I know we got new people here today. I'm going to talk about the MLK project and what I have put out, and I've got a few copies left of them that I can give to some folks, but I can also get some printed and put them in City Hall if somebody doesn't get one that wants one. Or I can email it to them. So basically the scope was looking from Avenue A through Avenue D, which is 3 blocks, and that would be putting in sidewalks. Big cost is burying the utilities and getting those underground and getting it so it's, you know, little more presentable. And sidewalks and road paving, street lights, some landscaping and some irrigation. I think I hit pretty much everything on that. Oh, and some crosswalks as well. We have to break down the pricing, and you'll see in there, but the bottom line is it came to a total of a little over $1.8 million. The city's going to put in it pledged at the last meeting to put in $25,000. We'll get a resolution so we can send that with the application showing that that's official. The grant amount that we're asking for that is $1,780,790. And again, that includes the street improvements, the work I said on the sidewalks. There'll be some probably off-street or on-street parking, new lighting, landscaping, and irrigation.
and then the undergrounding and utilities, just to kind of recap there a little bit. And engineering and administration are included in that price at $1,787,990. And again, we'll polish this application up. This is a very, very rough draft that I've got here. As unmet need that I just explained to you, we would like to go all the way to G, but we're not gonna be able to get enough money to do that. So as unmet need, we went street by street from D to E, from E to F, F to G, and put those as unmet need. And if there's money available, then we'll go to the next street, and then the next street, and then the next street, as funds are available there. I just heard you talking about the, and I guess we need to stick on this MLK, and let's do the public hearing piece.
Absolutely, yeah, we skipped ahead to that, but
Yeah.
that's fine, and
Yeah, I'm sorry.
we will be
And
calling this the second public hearing for MLK.
Sure.
And you
And
discussed
I-
it well. Anybody in the audience like to speak on that project?
All right, just one quick, A to D.
Yes, sir, 3 blocks, yes.
Okay, all right. Move on to the next. We need a vote.
Close that one, and then let me talk about the next one, and then, sorry,
Okay,
I will do it right.
all right.
Jim, I'm sorry.
We jumped ahead, but
Mayor, you may want to handle the resolutions under that one specifically, so totally up to you, but you've got resolutions 06, 07, 08
yeah,
pertaining to MLK Boulevard.
Yeah, sorry, I'm new at this, so I, getting up, doing this part of it anyway, so.
okay. Make a motion for, or entertain a motion for, resolution 2025-06, which is a resolution for the, money for the MLK Boulevard revitalization. Okay, 2 motions.
I'll do the second.
Okay, Commissioner Carrigan made the motion, Commissioner Hoffman second. Discussion. Anybody? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. Okay, I think we can close that now.
You got two more.
Okay.
07 and 08, Mayor.
First one.
No, we do. Okay. All right. 2025-07 is the funding leverage.
So moved.
Okay. And, motion by Commissioner Lowry, second by Commissioner Blanks. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye. Same sign, motion passed 5-0. Okay, now, resolution 2025-08, the objectives of the plan. Commissioner made the motion, is there a second? Second, Commissioner Kerrigan. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5.
Closing that one out?
We closed MLK, second public hearing out, and reopen the Washington, school complex.
And my apologies for going out of order.
That's okay.
Okay, so, the Washington Gym project, we are Washington, I'm calling it the Washington Neighborhood Community Center.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more than just the gymnasium, and, we went out with Commissioner Langston, and, we made a hit list basically of items that needed to be on there, that needed to be addressed. They included flooring, they included stage, they included some work in the ballroom, the flooring, I think I mentioned that. The kitchen, upgrades to the kitchen, taking out a wall and expanding the kitchen and redoing the kitchen. Doing some work in the reading and media room, upgrading that, and getting that equipped. Doing some HVAC, and that is going to be in lieu of any HVAC that's done by the county and theirs. We had looked at doing some mini splits in some of the smaller rooms and in the kitchen to sort of, help that along a little bit. So the main system wasn't trying to cool the whole building. There's some plumbing, minor plumbing needs to be done. Pretty much the full place needs electrical work. Some ceiling repairs, I think, that were in the ballroom in particular. Some windows and some doors, cabinetry and shelving in the kitchen, some equipment and some furnishings like some tables and chairs. We'll see if we get that past Florida Commerce. They don't like to do equipment and things that can walk off, but we'll give it a try anyway. And there was also some painting in that. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything on there. I believe I got everything covered with that. This one's a little simpler financial wise. There's a $25,000 match, requesting, $1,723,660, so $1,723,660. That includes the work on the complex, the engineering and the administration, and we're applying the $25,000 in both of those grants to the engineering piece, because there are some caps on the RUF, but it doesn't matter. There's caps on it. We don't want to go over them, and the engineers want to charge more, and I don't blame them, because those are antiquated curves that they allow for. So that's the address need. What we've got in there for unaddressed need or unmet need is, first of all, we've got and we can change the order of this to whatever we're thinking. John, I just put some numbers down on this because we hadn't gotten anything back from our folks on that. But basically, the first thing that we're looking to take a look at is the museum, and doing some work on the museum, and some of the improvements that we were looking at on there were here real quick. I went too many pages. A new roof, flooring, exterior doors, new lighting, and sidewalk replacement, as well as some painting. The second unmet need we have is the WIG building, and that included new roof, rehabilitation of the restrooms, and some sidewalk replacements outside. And did I hit that pretty good, John? I think I put out what we talked about while we were over there. And that's pretty much what we've got so far on that. And again, we put everything we could think of in there. We put the bleachers in there. We put everything in there. So the county's gonna run short with 500,000 or whatever it is they've got. And if we can get this grant, we'll come in and we'll pick up what they can't do. And if we put everything in there and they do some of it, we're probably gonna be able to cover the rest of it, hopefully. So that's all I've got.
Right. Okay, go ahead, Commissioners. Good job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, now, one discussion. Okay.
I know that we have talked in length about the heating, and I heard you say HVAC. Is that going to include fixing or replacing the current heating for the gymnasium?
We will have that in there one way or the other, yes.
Okay.
What I heard from, I think Jim, was that they have, the county, did I hear right, that the county has the HVAC in theirs? They do. And according to however that falls out, that goes to the same thing I said, Commissioner, that whatever they can't get, we'll come in and get it. We put the kitchen sink, literally, we put the kitchen sink in, as well as everything else. And so we could put in the application what we would like to do, and if another funding source comes in and does some of it, it's probably all gonna be overbid anyway. We got good numbers now, but it takes a while for these grants, so to come to fruition. And get to a place where you can actually, get a contractor out there and do the building. So you wanna?
Yeah, absolutely. Any other commissioners have any questions? All right, open up to the public. Anybody would like to speak, to this project?
Can I ask, is your name?
Please come forward and sign your name and state your name.
Yes, sir.
And your address.
Are you Mr. Howard?
I am, yes.
Okay, you're Patrick Howard.
I'm not running from you.
Pardon?
I'm not running from you, I promise. I just need to say something.
What's your title, sir?
I'm a grant manager with Fred Fox Enterprises.
Which
Fred?
Fred Fox? Fox Enterprises.
Yes. They're based out of St. Augustine, Florida. and I'm also a resident here.
Engineer, you said, correct?
You know what I mean?
What did you- Grant manager,
Yes.
was in my mind. Haven't had enough soda today. I had a question about this 51% LMI and then the 70% about do those two correlate with each other?
The 70% addresses the overall amount. There are three national objectives. There's a low moderate income national objective. There's a slum and blight, which is basically if an area's been called slum and blight, if it's called blighted, if it's labeled as such, you can apply under that. It's very rare that occurs. The other one's urgent need, and it's very difficult under this grant program to do that. That's more of a disaster recovery related type thing. It has to be something that happened just like in the last 6 to 9 months.
What one are we applying under?
We're applying under the low to moderate income. We're using census data, and we're at 60, we're over the 51%, which is actually what the national objective requires. And we're using census data, and the census tract that includes that neighborhood that's going to be served is 60. I hope I'm telling you this right. 60.4%.
I won't know, so.
It's over 51% is 60.
What area are you referring to? Because doesn't that benefit, that area should benefit the entire city, doesn't it?
It's the census tract. We have two commercial districts in Fort St. Joe. We've got the North Fort St. Joe.
I'm talking about the gym. Are we talking about MLK Boulevard?
I thought we were talking.
I'm not sure what the 70%, it's talking about the fund, so I'm.
Okay, yeah, the 70% is what the state has to meet. Of all of their money, they have to meet 70% going to low to moderate income. They're usually at 100%.
And that refers to the MLK portion of this?
That refers to
All of it.
any of their funds. They got $40 million out on the street right now. And that refers to, that 40 million, 70% of it has to go to low to moderate income.
Okay,
But to meet the national objective, the local governments have to have at least 51% low to moderate income. I
So
know
those
it confused me and I worked up there.
so those things correlate to each other, that's LMI.
They do to some
Okay.
extent, yes. Yes, and that is 80% of area median income.
So but it is referring to both the MLK project and Washington Gym.
We're using,
Specifications of this grant.
we're using the census data for both.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone else?
Very brief. I know that, grants take time. So is there a timetable or a time limit that we're looking at and we can move forward?
Getting word back?
Yes.
Well, that's not at all, but unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the state on those. They typically, they've moved the deadline up, as I said, to May 16th. They typically get the initial reviews done within 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know how they're staffed up there right now. I used to work up there. I used to do the other side of this. And let's say 4 weeks. And then they'll set up, for those that are in the funding range, because there's going to be a lot of applications and some will be in what they call the funding range and some will be below. For those that are in the funding range, they'll set up site visits. They'll come down, they'll meet with, in this case, Ms. Charlotte, and they'll sit down and they'll go through a whole bunch of paperwork. And they'll go out and look at the sites or site, and then they'll go back and they'll check their scores, and then they'll make an award if it all looks good. And that takes several months.
Well, one of the things that Commissioner Langston stated is that the lease for the kitchen and
Yes.
preparing the building for the workforce. I was at Centennial Bank yesterday, and two of the ladies says, will this be ready for us to have some program? I could not give them an answer. So I said I would ask today if this is a timeline thing so that we can have some of the kids in the community get involved with some program. And I know I could ask Commissioner thanks about the time frame of that.
No, good, it's a very good question. This grant is federal money, and it goes through the state of Florida, Florida Commerce, and it takes, let's say the city gets awarded in 6 months. They've already procured us as a grant administrator, they did that up front, which that means they advertised, and they went ahead and they hired us, to do the work. And so that means they don't have to do that afterwards. So that's a good thing, time-wise. But an environmental review has to be done, and it takes about 9 months to do that. And then you put together plans. So to answer your question, this grant won't help you. The county's money may, getting through this. Look for the county money to be able to do that first than this, but this will be a couple of years out before it actually comes to fruition to get some construction done, to get it coming, or get either of them.
Well, Jim, the only thing I want to get a list of that.
Patrick, probably 6 to 9 months, at the minimum to get an answer
We're
back.
talking about next year.
To get an award,
Yeah,
if there's an
exactly.
award, six to 9 months is the
Yeah,
amount of time.
Yeah,
Just a
exactly.
list that the county funds might take care of.
Right. They're looking there on page 7.
All right, who's that? Anybody? All right, Pat, great work, great grants. We're hoping we're not closing it yet, but, just to say that.
You got it, and your resolutions, and
Can we get ready to do that?
awesome.
Yeah. All right, here we go. First resolution is, resolution 2025-03, which is the, resolution to submit the application. I'll entertain a motion for that. So, Commissioner Flower made the motion, Commissioner Hoffman second. Discussion. All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Next is resolution 2025-04, which is the funding leverage. I'll entertain a motion for that. Commissioner Langston made the motion. There's a second. Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Resolution 2025-05 is the objectives of the plan. I'll entertain a motion for that resolution. Commissioner Langston made that motion. There's a second. Second by Commissioner Lowry. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all are sure.
Thank you.
Sure do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing out and resume our regular meeting, which, Jim, you're still under
Yes, sir.
old business. You got anything else?
Yes, sir. To close out the Washington Gym Complex, we are advertising for summer help for the Stackhouse and for the Workforce Board program. That's set to begin the first weekend in June. So it is being advertised on there. We will be utilizing the gym facility in there. The gym itself is in good shape as far as the roof. We're working on those 2 side buildings to see if we can make some minor repairs to get going, but it is going to be held. Both programs are on schedule to be started in a couple of minutes. Also too, the gym scoreboard, it has been put up, so that is in place, and I was told it was operational in there too. So that was part of the Coca-Cola contract. So we do have a nice new scoreboard inside the gym.
Wow. Very good. Right, sir.
Old business. First item we have is the 2024 water quality
That's
report.
under new business.
Yes, sir, new business.
New business. I'd like, our director of our water plant, Mr. Larry, to take the lead on this.
We had another good year. We were under DK limit for all contaminants tested. Our annual average was good, and also, we had no violations reported.
That's fantastic.
Real happy.
Union staff doing a great job.
We appreciate that.
Any questions on that?
How often does this come out? Once a year?
Once a year.
Do you get copies of the county's water testing results as well?
You can go on the website.
I just keep hearing, they bad about the city water. But yeah, I hear there's reports on their water that they probably don't bring up in meetings like we do. Thank you for your work and your staff.
All right.
One last thing, Mayor. First thing, we want to thank Kevin Pettis for his years of service. This is the last meeting Kevin will be here with us. He is retiring at the end of the month. 13 years of service. I just want to thank Kevin for all his hard work and dedication to the city for 13 years and wish him well in retirement.
Absolutely, Kevin. We did it. Great work. You've had some. Hope you enjoy yourself. Maybe Joe won't call you too much.
You getting out at a good time.
I think so. This is hard.
And with that, we want to congratulate the man to his right, who's going to be taking the reins of the wastewater treatment plant, Mr. Joe Harris. So Mr. Joe is the right man for the job, and he's going to take over on April 1st. Yeah.
He's had a good mentor.
That's all I have.
All righty. Next item is Public Works.
Mayor, I have nothing to do with one of the questions for me.
You got any questions? No? It's going good, I guess. Okay. Surface water, Larry, one more chance.
I have nothing new to add, so that's a question.
Okay. All righty. Wastewater, talk about you guys a little bit. Kevin, this your last chance to say something.
So we've got 4-footer freeboard, and we remember this 5 foot is your max until we figure out how to get more water off. We've had some filter problems during the week. We're valved out one of the filters, so we're running a little less than half throttle until we get parts in and get everything put back together. Filters showing their heads. Yeah, that's just the way they work sometimes. As far as the field goes, all the work is done except for the well. When you put these fields together, you have to have a monitoring well to test the water. That's the last piece of that. And then Dewberry will issue a notice to FTEP that field's ready. And I would expect it would come out for an inspection, look everything over, and then grant us the okay to use the field. So we should be really close as far as using the zone 3, which would be the biggest field we have. Joy's working here, Joy's working with you guys. That's all I've got unless you have questions.
Everybody, once again, thanks for your service.
Thank you.
All righty. Finance Director.
Mayor, no change on the FEMA reimbursement for Clifford Sims, although Jim did try to make contact with a consulting firm in Tallahassee to see if they can find some answer for us why this is not been moving forward.
Is that Liberty Partners?
No, sir, we're working back through, I called Clark Smith's office to see if he could have somebody come and try to find out exactly what's going on. He's got a lot of people in his firm that are familiar with those agencies, so trying to get to the bottom of why we're still in step 6 of 8 here.
Yeah.
So we'll hold our breath.
Yeah.
And then we're still moving on grant reimbursements. I have a final meeting Thursday on the NOAA grant to close that out, meeting with them to try to correct some of the language on our final filing on the NOAA grant to get that reimbursement going. And we also have a meeting this week with the University of Florida group to close out that Resilient Florida. So we're up to date on the reimbursements for septic to sewer grants at Beacon Hill and on the general septic to sewer grant. Although we did want to make a clarification, we did review with DEP, and the deadline for the septic sewers is December of 2026. So we have some extra time, and we have money in both of those grants for anybody on a septic that wants to convert and has access. We do have those grants extended out through December of 2026.
Good. Sure.
That is good. And that's all I had, man.
Okay. Questions, Mark?
Can we get that updated like on our website so that we can let those people know that are on the septic that there's money available?
The problem they're having is that we certainly have production on our end, but they do have cost on their end with a plumber to abandon their existing and install that grinder pump and get an electrician in there, run power to it. So there is significant cost on the other side that they still have associated with that conversion. But yes, we can put that out on the website.
Anybody question mine? Okay, code enforcement.
Mayor, one thing to reiterate on finance too, if you look at the box, everybody got a copy of their financials. We're in a 6-month period. We're halfway through the year. Our revenues are flat. So that we've not seen in a number of years since Hurricane Michael. We're starting to see, we're not seeing those increases that we saw with the number of new houses coming on board and customers. It's flattening out. Our sales tax numbers are down. Our water and sewer revenue numbers are down on there. So look at your financials. We've got to tighten our belt in this next 6 months with these financials and watch anything that's outside of the current budget in there because our numbers are flat. So we're really keeping an eye on it.
And push these, folks that are controlling our money on reimbursement for grants.
Absolutely, that's part of it.
Mike, if you could, follow up maybe every meeting, give us a summary or a total
Sure.
of everything that we've expended, but we're waiting from the state to reimburse us.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I can do
I
that.
think that would be helpful for everybody.
Code enforcement, Mayor, a couple of things on there. We're starting to see a couple of pop-up sales down on Reed Avenue, things we ask people to remember that. Those are public sidewalks for safety and everything else on there. They really need to be inside their buildings, except for special events that y'all hold that are permitted through the city down there. But we've seen several in the last couple of weeks. We know people want to sell things in the parks, want to sell things down on the sidewalks, but it's got to have a special permit or it's got to be inside there. So.
Yeah, I saw someone Saturday. I didn't know if they'd got fed or what. They were set up with their little outcroppings there on Third Street, across the street. Sisters. Okay, what else? Okay. Police department?
I have a surplus vehicle, requesting a surplus vehicle. It's I think 2016 Taurus. It's one that, the sheriff gave to us in a pinch a couple of years ago when we had a bunch of personnel vehicles. We're gonna surplus it, and I have a F-150 that, I'd like to transfer over to Public Works.
Okay,
I think they're gonna use it in parks recreation.
We'll entertain a motion for those requests. Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lowry. Any discussion? Anybody want to buy no cars? All in favor, aye. No, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right, Ms. Pierce.
I don't have any updates on pages 24 and 25, other than we're doing our usual asking for reimbursement, working on vending compliance all the time. It's taking a lot of time, just stay current with all the grants we're handling. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay, I've got any questions from these grant projects? Just need to get reimbursed.
Thank you.
All right, nothing else, time for citizens to be heard. Anybody like to speak, come right ahead, state your name, address, and sign in, please.
Good afternoon. Christy McElroy, Port St. Joe. I'm going to read something from Stephen Webster to the SA's office, the state attorney's office, to their investigator concerning my trespass in a construction site. It was sent on April 10th, 2025. Good morning. Jared called me yesterday and told me that he was filing a no information this morning on Ms. McElroy's case. Thank you for getting involved and putting an end to this injustice. Christy has been devastated by this nightmare. And it is long past time to bring it to an end. Jared said he felt compelled to fight for the city because of the liability the city would face if a judge dismissed the case for lacking probable cause. I understand the urge to protect the city, but I'm glad that somebody finally cared about Christie. They framed and falsely arrested a 62-year-old lady simply because she speaks her mind. It's unconscionable. Thank you for doing the right thing. I hope to meet you someday. I'm sending this to every one of you. It is unconscionable. April the 10th was supposed to be an adversarial preliminary hearing. There were a number of people that had been subpoenaed. At 10:30 is when the state attorney filed this. We were ready to go to see if there actually was probable cause. Trespass in a construction site requires you have a permit. You put me up for a 3rd-degree felony for taking pictures and recording those pictures and sending them to DEP because you were doing work in a tidally driven canal system that required permits. I just want to know, do any of you have anything to say to me before I sit down? Because if you do, please don't wait until I sit down. Didn't think so.
Appreciate it. Okay, who's next? Anybody? Please come forward, state your name. Oh, I think it's on one side. State your name and address, please sign in, please, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Hello.
My name's Terry O'Neill, and I live in St. Joe Beach. So I'd like to address two things. One is annexation, and the other is future development of Gulf County. I didn't come here to waste your time. I didn't come here to complain. I came here with some observations and some thoughts, and I certainly don't want to try to change things to the way things were done where I moved from. So on annexation, while watching city and county commission meetings a few years back, I was stunned as I watched members of the city commission ignore the citizens of Highland View in their opposition to the annexation of 9 acres into the city. The city was not successful in that attempt. I'm watching now how the city is attempting to annex 100 acres from the county in an area that is currently zoned industrial. I feel you're being extremely short-sighted in this endeavor. With very little industrially zoned area in the county, I feel like this area should be preserved for that purpose. This county and city have everything going for it. You have beaches, you have a railroad, you have a port, and I see the positive impact that tourism has on the city and the county and the impact that tourists have on local businesses. But I'm perplexed as to why you do not embrace industry. Like I said, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, it's just an observation. I watched in the meeting on February 4th of this year and must say I was again shocked that the county attorney was interrupted several times while just trying to set up a meeting to discuss the annexation issue. Seems to me, and I could be wrong, that you're not really interested in seeking a solution, but rather you're ready to go straight to conflict resolution and then to court over this matter. Mr. Mayor, I recollect you saying you have not seen anyone interested in developing that area for the past 18 years. But I also recollect that there was a discussion of a potential LNG facility being located in that area. That idea has since died. Now, I don't know if it ever really had a chance. I know there used to be a paper mill here and a lot of consternation surrounding that mill. I've worked in industry for the majority of my life, and I know that industry and the industrial environment has changed over the past several years. I believe most of us want a safe city and county, as well as clean air and water.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming. If y'all correct, if I'm wrong, I believe the LNG plant was gonna be on the paper mill property.
Was.
Yeah. Wasn't on.
And we don't have to.
All right, please come up and state your name and sign in, please, ma'am.
Lynn Peters Lewis, St. Joe. I just wanted to share with you something a resident asked me to share because she couldn't be here today, and that's that the parking lot next to the CVS needs to be cleaned up. It's felt that it's quite a mess. I rode past it. It looks shabby, but it doesn't take much to clean it up. The other thing is the quality of this video and audio is really bad. You can't hear in the back. And I've talked to people who are watching the meeting from YouTube, and it's terrible quality.
We've heard that quite a bit, and frankly, I thought we had fixed it so people could hear, but you're saying you don't, so we need to change whatever we've got. Let's change it so people can hear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Sounds like we probably have to budget.
Yeah, whatever it takes, we need to fix it.
Just for notification, we are on the 26th of this month. We're having our Earth Day celebration, and we're looking also for volunteers. We're going to try to do a community cleanup, and the celebration will start approximately 10 until 3. We'll try to have some snacks, a lot of information about environmental impact studies and so forth and so on. We've tried to partner with a lot of different agencies to bring some knowledge to the community, but it shall be Saturday morning. I hope to have a tent set up.
And where?
On the corner of MLK and Avenue C, where the tent will be set. But if we have any volunteers that want to help with the cleanup, we'll start at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And we have BCC going to give us a dumpster. We'll have bags and gloves for anyone that want to help with the cleanup.
Okay. Are you getting a roll off or just a regular dumpster?
We just go regular dumpster. We don't think we have any household stuff.
The city can provide a roll off if that's,
Well, we was hoping that we wouldn't get the household stuff. We was hoping we want to do a general cleanup for the whole section.
Okay. Okay.
But if that's needed, I'll contact them.
Please do.
What's that date again, Jeff?
26.
April 26th?
The 26th. Yeah.
Thank you. Sure. Next, please come forward.
Didn't I hear him say something about the, Washington High, putting a new gym, a new floor in the gym?
Just a minute, we get the podium so we can get you, everybody here you can.
Did we say something about putting a new floor in the Washington gym?
That was on the scope of work, yes, the county.
I just wanted to reach out for somebody who got bad knees, who jump on that floor out there a lot. Make sure y'all look at what you're putting on the floor for the kids to jump. The floor is very important. Okay, I mean, you just can't put something cheap like what's out there now. Later on in years, people who got there are gonna see the effect from it. So we put a floor out there for them to run and jump on. Let's make sure that floor works with the joints of the body. Okay?
You hear that?
Well, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, Commissioner Langston, I think you'll be first today. Okay, good. Good, Mr. Terry? I'm good. That's wrong.
I just have one question. Can you give us an update, Jim, on where we are with the city app?
The city, we have paid for it, so we're supposed to do the implementation process on their district. Through the orientation on it, so it has been paid for.
I don't have anything either, so thank you all for coming. We'll stand adjourned.
Give that.